to another Trillions Mixture event with Quest Trust Company. Tonight, we are very excited to have with us Glenn Stromberg, and he is going to talk to us about some very creative ways and investments for your self-directed IRA. And we are so excited to have him with us tonight. Before we get to our great guest speaker, we're going to play a short video that we have worked very hard on, and I'm sure you'll recognize some names and faces.
My goodness, another crazy day at the stock market. With all this uncertainty, how on earth am I going to feel comfortable retiring? There has to be a better way to invest my money safely.
There is.
Who said that?
The disembodied voice in your kitchen.
Oh my! Wait, what other way is there?
It's something called a self-directed IRA.
A self-directed IRA?
Yes.
Well, what does it do then, huh?
This IRA allows you to use your 401k and IRA money to invest in alternative assets, such as real estate, notes, and private entities. The stock market can be volatile, and having alternative investments that you are knowledgeable about in your IRA provides a lot less fluctuation and helps diversify your portfolio, so you don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Well, that sounds like a swell idea. How do I get one of those?
All you have to do to get started is open up an IRA with Quest Trust Company. You can call one of our certified IRA specialists at 855-FUN-IRAs and submit an application online now.
How grand! I think I'll call them right now.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Don't get burned by the stock market this summer. When you open an account with Quest Trust Company, we'll send you a free toaster. That's right. When you open an account right now with Quest Trust Company, you will get a free toaster. Use promo code TOASTER, right, and call 855-FUN-IRAs and talk to a certified IRA specialist right now.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We hope that you enjoyed that as much as we did. I'm sure that was Nathan Long, our president, in the video, and our very own Nicole Faniff of starring in the video. So we had a lot of fun with that. Our June promotion is toasters. So I'm going to get to more of that in just a second. So before we get to our really amazing speaker and our creative strategies in our self-directed accounts, I am going to share just a few slides with you. Ooh, wrong one. Few slides with you about Quest Trust Company, who we are and what we do. So welcome to our $1 trillion investment mixer. Oh, there we go. All right, so who is Quest? What do we do? So Quest Trust Company is the largest self-directed IRA custodian in Texas. So we do act as the custodian for self-directed IRAs. We hold only privately held assets, nothing publicly traded, and we do allow this new world of alternative assets in your self-directed IRA account. It was started by two brothers, Quincy and Nathan Long, by investors for investors. They were actually investors themselves, still are, and so they built the company about what a client would need from that. So we really focus on the client's needs. 20,000 active investors all across the country. That number is probably a little higher by now. So no matter where you're joining us from, we can service your needs. 2 billion under assets. Also, that number is higher now. So lots of people really come into the self-directed IRAs. $350 million. That number is probably closer to 400 now of undirected cash. This gives a lot of investment opportunity for borrowers and lenders to come together in the promissory note area. So a lot of opportunity at Quest Trust Company. Of course, our disclaimer is the same for every webinar, just like this one. It is for educational purposes only. Quest Trust Company does not give any legal, tax, investment, structuring advice, please make sure you're doing your due diligence on all of your investments. Make sure you're contacting your CPAs, attorneys, etc. when doing your investments. Make sure you're doing all of your due diligence and research before engaging in investments. All right, so what in the world is a self-directed IRA anyway? Actually, self-directed is just a marketing term, meaning you get to direct the investments in your account. So an IRA at Quest is just like an IRA anywhere else. They're governed the exact same way, same contribution limits, but here at Quest, you get to direct the investments. And of course, we hold the privately held investments, opening up to a brand new world of diversification, one of our first benefits of the self-directed IRA. So instead of just the stock market, now you really have a brand new world of investments to go to. Tax savings. Of course, all of our 7 accounts have great tax savings benefits. With the Roth account, one of my favorites, it does have the potential for tax-free and penalty-free distributions at retirement. Of course, you have to meet a couple specifications. Make sure you're calling your IRA specialist to see how we can do this for you. And invest in what you know best. If you're really knowledgeable in real estate or promissory notes, private entities, multifamily syndications, oil and gas, what have you, mobile homes, self-storage, really the field is very wide, but invest in what you know best. If you have your knowledge out there, use it to your advantage to help you save for retirement. All right, so these are our 7 type of self-directed IRA accounts. I would love to tell you more about all of them right now, but we just don't have the time. So make sure you get in touch with our IRA specialist to tell you more. We have Juan Deshawn is our moderator today, and I am Nicole Baker. We are both IRA specialists, and we have an amazing team with us that we are all ready to help you. So we'd love to help out. This is our 3 main asset classes that we have, but oil and gas is, of course, a choice there. So these lists, they actually are kind of shorter than what you can really do in your account. So again, make sure you're contacting your IRA specialist. Even if you have an account with us already, get in touch with us, and we're happy to help you make sure that you're really using your accounts to the full advantage. All right, our client portal has really gone under some amazing improvements since April. You can now do all of your investments online without the direction of investment form. So that is really exciting. You can have expense pay, upload some documents. Your fair market value can be done there. See your annual statements. So make sure you're using that client portal. If you need help accessing that, we're happy to help you with there too. We offer endless free education like you're attending right now. We have these trillions on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. We love having them. We also have a very robust YouTube channel. This webinar now is streaming live. As all of our webinars, you can find them under the video section whenever you need to. Our education center on our website is also full of videos and articles to help you out in learning about the self-directed IRAs. Our weekday webinars at 12 Central, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have self-directed Saturdays at noon Central. Another opportunity to come and learn with us. And we have a virtual networking happy hour. This is something that's very unique to Quest and that we're really excited about. 1st and 3rd Wednesday of the month, 6:30 Central. Come have a glass of wine with us. Come see what other investors are doing. Come share your deal. Great place to network. Great place to come have some fun. So come check out our events. All right, so we have a brand new event coming to us this summer. We have put together a great summer intensive. This is going to be more of a high level, in-depth, digging deep into the topics. These are Fridays, these dates on your screen. It's going to be in the morning, 9 to 12. $25 does cover all 3 days. And we're going to be doing some really advanced training here. So get excited about this. Check us out on the website for your tickets there. Also, it pays to have friends at Quest Trust Company. So if you refer someone to Quest and they end up opening an account, you will get $25 credited to your account and they will get $25 off of their account opening fee. So make sure you go to refer.questtrust.com to make sure you can take care of that. And last but not least, this is the part that I've really been waiting for, short of our fabulous guest speaker, of course, is to tell you about our new promo, our flash sale that ends in just a couple days, our special Father's Day promo. So if you open an account, one account, we are waiving 50% of the account opening fee. So it will be $50 instead of $100. If you open more than one account, we are waiving all the account fees for all the accounts. So don't miss out on these savings. Call the IRA specialists. We are happy to help you. And of course, there's more, always more with Quest. We will, of course, get you the toaster as well. Don't get burned by the stock market this summer. You can have the account opening fee discounts as well as the toaster. So we're happy to do this. That's actually a picture of what the real toaster looks like. We've tested them out at work. They're great toasters. So make sure you get in touch with us. We are happy to help you. This is how to get in touch with us. This QR code actually works. Or live chat with us. If you go to our website, the chat box popped up. It's actually manned by IRA specialists and our amazing transaction teams, not robots. So we're happy to help you there. Give us a call. I really do love our phone number. We really do try to make this as fun as possible because we think saving for retirement is fun. Or of course, email us, IRA specialist at questtrust.com, or you can email me directly, nicole.baco@questtrust.com. All right, that is quite enough for me. I know that y'all really came here to hear from Mr. Glenn Stromberg and his creative ways to invest in your self-directed IRA. So without further ado, welcome, Glenn. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And take it away, please.
It's my pleasure, Nicole. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And let me get my screen shared here and we'll get started here. Okay. Once again, it's a real privilege and honor to be speaking here tonight. And my goal is that hopefully when I get done, everybody on this call is going to learn something. So I've got a lot of slides. I'm going to try to get through them really fast, or I'm going to try to go through them fast so we have time for questions and answers at the end. With the asset class that I primarily do, there's a lot of misunderstanding about it, but here we go. This is our company's mission statement. We're a Christian company. We want to bring glory to God in everything that we do. This is my disclaimer that there's nothing for sale here tonight. This is just for educational purposes. My attorney makes me put this up here. So, and once again, my goal is that hopefully, that you'll learn something here this evening. So, just a little bit about me. And, like I say, my motto is love God, love people, be humble. I think if you do that thing, it's about 98% of what the Bible says to do. And, our company motto is do unto others you haven't done to you, the golden rule. And, I always tell our team, if we take care of our investors and we exceed expectations with our investors and with our tenants, we don't have to worry about us. We're going to do great. So that's a little bit about us and about me. Why do we invest in, just let me just put this all up here. Things I want to cover tonight. Once again, make it educational. My specialty is mobile home, manufactured homes. You'll hear me use both terms. They're synonymous. There's no difference. They mean the same thing. Talk a little bit about creative financing and joint ventures, turnkey real estate, which our company does a lot of. Do you need money to invest in real estate? And I want to cover that right now. The answer is absolutely not. You do. If you can find deals, you do not need money. We're going to talk about networking, finding a coach, a mentor, active versus passive investing. Which one's better? Either, but both are great. There's a lot of people that make tremendous money just being a passive investor. Other people want to be active, and we'll talk about both those. I want to talk about compound interest and rates of return and how important they are to your retirement. Going to talk about my 2008 story and what I learned from that. And really, it kind of happened during COVID too. So we'll touch on that. Our company, we run a professional property management department, which is the key to having buy and hold real estate. So we're going to talk about property management, and then I'm going to try to leave some time at the end for questions and how I can help you. So. Okay, so I always put this up here. Who would invest in mobile homes, right? I get asked that question sometimes, like, why do you invest in mobile homes, right? Well, you guys know this guy, Warren Buffett. He bought the biggest mobile home company in America, Clayton Homes, because he understands the value of affordable housing. A little bit about me. Once again, I got gray hair here. I'm old. I've been in the manufactured housing business for over 35 years. I've owned mobile home parks, developed mobile home subdivisions in the past, had 13 retail sales centers. I've had my current business model in place since 2006, which we'll talk about. And I had a Clayton Homes franchise for 15 years. And so technically that made me partners with Warren Buffett. That's what I tell people, but I never met the man, but that's what the paperwork said. So, okay, where I always want to start is personal property versus real property. People say, well, aren't mobile homes personal property? The answer is yes. When you get it from the factory, it's just like a car title. It's personal property. But when you attach it to real estate, it's just a title company function. The land and the home can be titled together. They could have a deed of trust or a mortgage, depending on the state, and it's real estate. It's just like a single family house at that point. It's real property. Both can be very lucrative. I'm going to talk about both of them tonight. When most people hear the word mobile home, they think of something that looks like this. When I speak in public, I always ask people, how many people think this is what a mobile home looks like? About 80% of the hands go up. This is not what we buy. This is an example of a property that we buy. It's got virtually every amenity that a single family house does. There's really no, like I say, when I say every amenity, it has every amenity. You can get them tape and textured, granite countertops. You can get anything you can in a single family, pretty much anything you can get in a single family home. Built with the same quality construction too. They're secured to an FHA compliant concrete foundation, which that makes it eligible for a homeowner to buy it and get it the same FHA financing they get in a single family home. Typically on a half an acre to an acre of land, which people like, you got a lot more land than a 0 lot line house. 2x4s or 2x6, 2x4s, just like a single family home, plywood or OSB subflooring, just like a single family home, upgraded windows, insulation packages, thermal pane windows, upgraded cabinets, appliance, everything is very similar to a single family home. I put on here what my dad said. My dad was a mason contractor and a builder in the Chicago area. He came and looked at 15 of my properties in Texas, and he looks at me and he goes, "These are built better than most of the tract houses in Chicago." And I said, "Yeah, Dad, I told you they were good," but that was nice to hear. It was really nice to hear. So, I call mobile homes on land the best kept secret in real estate investing, and I believe it from the bottom of my heart. And they're typically half the cost to a third the cost of a site built home. They're typically double the cash flow in many cases. Much lower maintenance costs. You don't have foundation plumbing issues. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's known as the worst ground settlement in the country. You hear a lot of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 foundation problems. If one of our homes gets unlevel, you take the skirting off, you re-level it for $1,000, $1,500, you're done. Once again, quality construction. Our company has bought over 450 properties in the last 7 years. We use all private lenders, no banks at all. We've got over 125 investors now deploying over $1 million a month, and roughly half of our deals are deploying IRA funds with Quest clients. And I know Quest has me on the call, but I do want to say they are a great company to work with. Like I say, half of our investors are Quest clients, and they're just tremendous to work with. They make things very easy and very simple. So we're currently buying 8 to 10 properties in Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And once again, all the mobile homes, manufactured homes, are real property secured by a deed of trust or a mortgage. Okay. Here's where I'm going to touch on 2008 and what I learned. Okay. This is one of the things when you hear of like the 2008 crash, almost everybody, a lot of people were in it back then, and a lot of people filed bankruptcy back then. Right. I was fixing and flipping mobile homes and was the best at it ever was. I was doing 2 to 4 a month, making $20,000 to $40,000 per deal out of my house with no overhead. And I had roughly 18 properties in the fix and flip process. And then it happened. My joke here is always that I had to tell my cat no more wet cat food. It's got to go to dry now because times got tough, right? But the crash of 2008 happened, okay? And so here's really what I learned, okay? I learned, and really COVID was the same way. affordable homes are always in demand. There really is an affordability home crisis in America. There really is right now. No matter how bad things get, everybody needs food and a roof over their head. And we look at it, we have the most affordable roof. And so we didn't get hurt at all during COVID or 2008. We didn't get hurt at all because our model works great in good economic times, but even better in bad economic times. And really what we found was surprising when COVID hit, the demand for our houses was 3x because people were downsizing, they got laid off. Some people were afraid of apartment complexes because of COVID. They didn't want to be around people. And so we always had a great supply of potential tenants, but it was 3 times as much since then. And our collections were 97% or better because people realized that, they don't want to lose an affordable place to live because there's just not that many of them out there these days because there's such a shortage. So that's kind of what we learned there. Let me see here. They're more liquid, really, especially when you have financial friends. There's people that will buy them. We're fun sometimes in syndications. You're tied up for a certain period of time. They are a great inflation hedge. It goes up and down with the real estate market. And case in point, properties that we bought like in 2012, 2014, we were probably all in for $60,000. Now they're selling for 150, 200. Now, why is that? Because the single family homes probably went from 150 to 350 in our area. So, once again, we see tremendous appreciation in them. And in my opinion, they're the safest and the best way to build wealth. I really believe that. It's got the least risk for sure. Okay. And just to touch on a few of these things here, for people who are active, right. And most people, when they start, they do wholesale. You can wholesale to a real estate investor, make a $10,000 profit. A lot of people do that. Obviously, you can fix and flip the home, buy it, fix it up like new, sell it to an individual. You can sell or finance. My favorite is buy and hold rental because, when you fix and flip, and do wholesale, it can be a great job. You can make really, really good money, but you're going to pay the taxes and you got to kill and eat. But when you buy and hold properties, you're getting the positive cash flow, you're getting the tax advantages, and you're building the long-term wealth, which grows tax deferred while you're doing it. Okay. Another strategy is turnkey. Okay. Turnkey is and that's what our company does. We buy the home, we fix it up like new. We put a tenant in there, we property manage it, we bring in an investor, they make great returns, we do well on it. And so we do a combination of buy and hold and turnkey. Those are our 2 strategies. And then there's lease option, depending on the state that you're in, and rent to own that, once again, in Texas, you really can't do that because we have the homestead law. But in other states, that's a good strategy. So those are just different ways that different ways that everyone can make money in real estate, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And this could be something that you can apply with single family homes or anything that apartment complexes, anything. But this is how our company does it. We call this our I'm going to just go ahead and put it all up there. But this is buy and hold. Our company, the investor is passive that we bring in. The typical investment for our product is $60,000 to $80,000. The investor's in the lien holder position, just like a bank. If we didn't pay them, which of course we always do, we would never not pay somebody. But they have a lien on the property. We're paying the investor. The typical deal is 6% on an interest-only note payment. Plus, we pay them two points, and we guarantee that it's a 5-year interest-only loan, and we guarantee that their return will be at least 8%. We've never had that one that low, but because the investor gets 35% of the shared appreciation, and we're purchasing the property at 75% of fair market value or less, so they have appreciation going in. So history shows that the investor will make somewhere between 10 to 14% per year for a 5-year investment under this model. Because keep in mind, real estate, it appreciates, right? So the loan amount, an example is $88,000. The monthly interest payments are $440 to the investor. The 2 points is $1,760. The term of the loan is 5 years, 35% shared appreciation. So When we closed on this property, it was worth 120. There was $88,000 appreciation. So the investor had like 11,002 going into it. So that's just an example of how the numbers work. Okay. Here's something else too. And I put this up here, this is kind of creative out of the box thinking, because some of my investors will do this. We'll adjust it. Like someone saying, no, I'd rather have 8%, no shared appreciation. We'll do that all day long. That way our company will get the whole 100% appreciation. They get a good 8% rate, which is great, right? Other times we have investors that want to do 4% interest and higher and 55% shared appreciation, 2% interest or 75% shared appreciation, or 0 interest and 100% shared appreciation. Now, why would an investor want to do that? A lot of my clients, they're high net worth people, doctors, dentists, business owners. Some of them are making $1 million a year. They don't want any more interest. So they want all the appreciation on the back end. So I'm good with that because we'll get more cash flow on the front end. And, we don't do many of these deals. Most of the investors do the 6% and 35, but it's another tool in the tool belt for a high net worth person who's trying to build appreciation down the road after they sell their business or they get out of their practice or whatever. So that's why we offer that. Our second option that we offer is the turnkey model. I'm just going to go ahead and put it all up here. Investors passive, the typical investments, 75 to 95,000. My company will make roughly $15,000 to $20,000 on the turnkey model, right? We're for buying the home, all the things that we do, marketing and everything else. And then, the investor, we sell the home to the investor. They get the tax benefits, the depreciation, 100% of cash flow in the profits upon the sale of the property. Of course, now the investor owns the house. They're responsible for repairs over time. We manage the property for them. And what we do that investors like is whether they do the buy and hold model or the turnkey, they're totally passive. We just tell them they gotta wire the money to the title company and look at their statement every month that the money's there. And that's all they got to do. We do the rest. And, history shows these have been at least 12 to 18% rate of return, annual rate of return on these. So I always put at the bottom there, of course, no one can predict the future, but our assumption is that equity and appreciation and rent increases over time will more than pay for the repairs. And that has been very, very true. And I don't know what everybody on this call thinks, but my personal opinion is the way the government's printing money, we're going to see, I think we already are seeing some massive inflation. And I think we're going to see a lot more inflation in the future. And that's where real estate is great because it's a good inflation hedge. So this is how the numbers work out on this, taxes, insurance, after property management. The cash flow was $886 a month for an $85,000 investment. So it was a 12.5 rate of return going in plus upside appreciation. So I'm going to go through this real quick too. I'm going to switch gears here for personal property mobile homes. Okay. There's a lot of money to be made in this too. You can find them in mobile home parks. You can add in Craigslist. You can call mobile home dealers. A lot of times a mobile home dealer, which I used to have dealerships, they want to sell new houses and they'll take an older trade-in sometimes, right? And they don't want the house. They don't want to pull it back to their sales center, fix it up. They don't want to mess with used houses. So I used to have people, call me up and say, man, say, if you'll come pick up my property or the mobile home, I'll give it to you for nothing. And there's deals out there like that. People don't, especially new mobile home dealers do not want to mess with used houses. They'll do that for you sometimes. So just haul them off for free. Like I said, I used to get these calls, like I said. Let me get to the next slide here. So here was a real example of one that I did. I bought a 1992 single wide. Now, remember, the land's not included with this, okay? 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 14 by 70. I picked it up and placed it at a mobile home park with a person who was a friend of mine that gave me a long-term lease for 5 years. And so to deliver and set it up to the mobile home park was $3,500. The rehab was $5,215. So my total investment was $8,715. To rent it, I would have rented it for $650. The park rental at the time was $250. So the cash flow would have been $400 per month or $4,800 a year, which would have been great, right? But I decided I didn't want to do that. So So I decided I wanted to sell the home instead. Okay. I took a note on it and I'm sorry, the slide's missing, but the return on investment, it was a 5-year note on the house. I got $3,000 down. So my investment after the $3,000 down was $5,715. I financed that for 10% for 5 years. They paid me out over time, and it was a great investment. And I made well over 100% on my money. So, like I said, they can be very, very lucrative. So, professional property management. I'm going to touch on this here because this really is the key to buy and hold real estate, right? If you don't have good property management, you can't hold the properties, right? So, like I say, in our company, we know the markets, have the procedures, employees dedicated to it, and property management is the backbone to successful passive real estate investments. Tenant screening is critical. We always want to get the income to debt ratio 3 times the rent cost. References are worth the world. Employers are usually honest, and they're pretty insightful. You can get a lot of information out of them. What we do is the lower the credit score, the more money we'll get up front. We'll get minimum 1 month's deposit plus 1 month's rent deposit plus the first month's rent. If they've had problems in the past, sometimes we'll get 2 months deposit. We've gotten 3 months deposit in some cases too. So when people want to move in the house, and I always say this too, sometimes bad things happen to good people, right? Divorce, death of a loved one, things of that nature. So it's not always a credit, that someone didn't do it, that did it on purpose. They had the rug pulled out of them in some cases. But once again, credit score is kind of how we judge and how they paid their past landlord. So setting the expectations are critical. We will tell tenants, look, we're really good people here. The first the rent is due. The third is acceptable. The fourth, we don't collect, we evict. If you don't pay, you won't stay. Do not sign this lease if you're not going to pay on time, because we will throw you out so fast it'll make your head spin. And they look at us kind of funny when we say that, but we say, look, you have got, if you went to work all month and your employer didn't pay you, how do you feel? Obviously not good. Well, that's how we feel. So once again, you're signing a lease here. You've got to pay on time, and you've got to take care of our property. And so that's the key thing. They got to take care of the property. They got to pay on time. Of course, as a landlord, we've got to give them a good habitable house, which we always will. We always meet them usually on a Skype or a conference call. We'll sign the lease that way. We do it by DocuSign. We go through we have a 24-page lease. We go through it with them. We have a thorough interview process with them because we want to make sure they know what to expect going in, right? And there's no misunderstanding. So another thing is tenant turnover. The typical tenant with us stays probably 4 years, but we're actively tracking. Like what we do is when we sign a lease, we'll either do a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease. We don't care which one they take. Well, we let them know if you take a 1-year lease, that rents have been going up, it'll probably increase the next year. But yeah, we always want to track when they're moving out, and we call them 6 months before, so we know if they're staying or leaving. We never offer a renewal without knowing the market conditions. We're always checking the market conditions to make sure we're getting the proper rent for it. And then it's a 90-day minimal notice if they are moving out for whatever reason. They got to let us know before the lease is over too. And then, of course, our whole goal is to make sure that when someone is moving out, they're moving out and we got the next tenant moving in. We're already starting to market the property 90 days before, so we got a tenant ready to move in when the old one moves out. So just what I said there, we list in about 10 different outlets, and just dedicated team to do it. So the other thing too is move-in day really is important, right? We have an inventory condition form. We take pictures of it. The thing that makes our model work really good is we're fixing the home up like new carpet, new paint, it's new everything, appliances, air conditioner, hot water heater. We put new everything in to push deferred maintenance down the road, and it's just good for us and it's good for our investors. Okay. And we make sure that they understand cosmetically, you're taking the home as is. There could be a nail hole in the wall, whatever. We just want them. The major things we're going to cover: water leaks, sewage leaks, electrical problems, structural problems, all appliances, which, we're putting new stuff in, and we're checking all that out. So we keep maintenance calls down to a minimum that way. The other thing that we do is we do $100 deductible. We let tenants know that any little thing they take care of, anything over $100 we take care of. If they need us to fix a water leak, that's fine. But it really does cut out the small ticky tack calls, which that's what you really want to avoid. So trends and stuff like that, we're always looking for that. We don't assume we're getting the best price. We shop with contractors, and we make sure that we've got the right people, and have a dedicated maintenance recording incoming requests to make sure that we're recording what the problem is. And because a lot of times, we'll get a call, the air conditioner doesn't work, and all it is it's flipping the breaker box, right? The breaker went out, something like that. So that's real quick on property management. I'm going to talk here because people ask us a lot of times, well, how did we go to four, how are we in 4 different states, right? Well, in Texas about 6-7 years ago, the market was really, really tight here. Okay. It was hard for us to buy enough houses. So we went to North Carolina and South Carolina. Now, why did we go there? Because it's the highest population of people living in manufactured homes. Roughly one out of five families live in a manufactured home in North and South Carolina. Then we moved into Georgia, which was the same too. But here's some quick things that we learned. Like I say, we want to go where the fish are biting, which that's what we did. You've got to have the systems and processes in place. We went through, I don't know if people on this call are familiar with Traction. It's called the EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. We had all that in place, so it was very easy for us to grow, and because we had the processes in place. We always want to go to a landlord-friendly state. Red states versus blue states. It makes a big difference legally if you have to get people out of the house. I hear horror stories in some places like New York and Illinois. It could take you a year and a half. California, 2 years to get them out of the house. And so, always looking at the local economy, the primary workforce, blue collar, white collar. Top 5 employers in the region, how stable are they? You want to make sure there's a good job pool there, of course. What's the closest metropolitan city, the population, rate of growth, hospitals, school ratings, all these are very, very important when you're considering going to another area. Other rental location homes, how long in the market before renting, any rental price drops, if so, how much. You want to make sure you're going to a good hot market, which really right now in America, most places are pretty hot right now. That's for sure. But of course you want to know what they're selling for too. So, okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just talk on some other things here. Active versus passive real estate investing. Which one is right for you? Right. Now, I'm going to make a statement here that I've seen through the years, right? I've got a bunch of my investors are dentists and good friends of mine. And, some say, well, I could do this. Yeah, you could. And I always say to them, well, I could be a dentist too, but I'd have to go to school. I'd have to learn because it just doesn't happen overnight. Right. And if you want to be an active investor, that's great. If you want to chase it, if you want to market, that's what I do. And I love it. That's great. But what I want to encourage people who don't really like that or want to do that, if you hook up with the right operators, passive investing can be very, very lucrative with no headaches, no brain damage on your part. And so it's a great way to invest. Like in my IRA, I cannot buy my stuff in my IRA. I've got a self-directed and a Roth, and I invest with people that I know, like, and trust, and they do all the heavy lifting. And it's nice when the checks show or the money shows up in my account, and I didn't have to do nothing with it except for give them the money. So, but both can be good. It just depends on what you're looking to do here. I put this up here too, because obviously making money is important, right? But this is a slide it's a mastermind group that I'm with a bunch of dentists, right? And the goal here, the assumption is to have $146,000 of annual income coming in a year. Okay. So if you're going to get a 1% return on your money, you need $14 million. I'm guessing not many people on this call have $14 million. Okay. I know I sure don't. 2% rate of return is $7.3 million. 4% rate of return is 3.65. 8% is 1.82. 10% return is 1.46. So the whole thing of this is the better your returns, the faster you're going to get to where you need to be. And because I see a lot of people, they make really, really good income. They put a bunch of money in the bank and they're making no return on it. And you're costing yourself a fortune when you do that. When there's in the alternative investing space, there really is a lot of good investments out there. There's a million asset classes in real estate that you could have it secured by real estate that you can make really, really good returns in. So I thought that was a good chart to share tonight. So, okay, we already covered this. Do you need money to invest in real estate? The answer is absolutely not. You do not. If you can find deals, I guarantee you, if you find a good deal, there'll be money just coming on, flocking to you because they're looking. If you hear anything that I say tonight, believe what I'm going to say right now. There is way more money out there than there is deals. I promise you. When you have a good deal, you'll have investors lined up for those deals. So, I heard this phrase. I've been in mastermind groups now for 11 years, and I'm in about 4 of them right now. And why do I do that? I learn, the Mastermind Principle. Napoleon Hill talked about Think and Grow Rich. It's like every meeting I go to, I get an idea that I call it the aha moment, the $1 million idea, right? And it's been time and time again. Scaling, going to other markets was from a mastermind group, right? You can't do it yourself. You need help. And I'm in several real estate mastermind groups. I'm in several investor groups. And just, iron sharpens iron. And it really is a true statement. Your network is your net worth. There's no doubt about it. And the other thing that always like, it's a true statement. You'll become the average of the 5 people you hang around with. I believe that was Jim Rome that said that. And so the joke at our mastermind groups is get away from me. You're bringing down my average. So that's the joke. So, but I think that's a true statement. So yeah, I believe I strongly believe that if you're getting into real estate, getting into a good mastermind group is not a good thing. It would be a required thing, in my opinion. It's something that you absolutely need to do because once again, you can, I've learned stuff in mastermind groups I would have never thought of in a million years. And just, it's like, you go, why didn't I think of that? I have no idea why, but you don't. So I would suggest to everybody in here, if you're not in mastermind groups, get in them. Hold on here. Okay. I love this quote by Robert Kiyosaki. If you want to go somewhere, it's best to find someone who's already been there. Right. And I don't know about people on this call, but I remember when I was starting in real estate, people said, well, you can't do that. You can't, man, that's hard. I know a lot of people that failed at that, of course it's by people who never did it. They didn't know how to do it. Right. So I never listened to those people. I want to talk to people who have done it and so forth. And here's why I think a mentor, and this is not, I don't have a coaching program, so there's nothing I'm selling here, but the one thing I would say, if I had a do-over, I would have got a mentor or a coach that would have saved me a lot of problems when I first started. Okay. And here's why. Okay. And I love this. How to become successful, right? You make good decisions. How do you make good decisions? Experience. How do you gain experience? Bad decisions. That's kind of funny when you think about it, but it's true. And if you get a good coach or a good mentor that has the experience, they will help you to avoid the bad decisions. Because I could do a whole webinar on bad decisions that I made when I was young and early and made mistakes that, of course, I grew and learned and never made those same mistakes again. But that's why I do believe mastermind groups, a coach, a mentor, they're critical. They're just critical to your growth. They're critical to your development. And so, I think I feel very strong about that. So I wanted to share that with you tonight. So love this one too. Henry Ford said this, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. That there's no truer statement out there. If you think you can, yep, you can. If you think you can't, you can. So I like that one too. So, but what I always do is this. I wrote a book with a friend of mine, David Phelps, Private Lender Secrets. We don't charge anything for this. It's free. Okay. If you did want to make a donation, we give it to Christian Media International. It's a great international ministry that feeds and gets the gospel out to the world. So any donation goes direct to Christian Media International. But once again, the book is free. If you call us, whatever, if you want to learn more about our business, this is an interview that I did with Eddie Wilson, and it talks more about manufactured homes. And here is my contact information. And like I say, if you hit www.stromberginvestmentgroup.com, we'll be happy to send you a free book. And once again, and I mean this sincerely, I don't just say this, I really do enjoy helping people, especially people who are hungry and want to improve. So if I could help you in any way, feel free to reach out to me, and I will be very, very happy to do that. So that is the end of my presentation. I think I left about 15 minutes for questions. So Nicole, back to you.
That was amazing. I will say this was the first webinar that I have taken 2 pages of notes on. I thought it was really wonderful. That was so much information. I thought it was great. I learned so much about manufactured mobile homes than I ever did. And you're right, that first picture you put up is typical of the picture that most people think of when you say mobile homes. And you don't really know about all the opportunities that are out there. So this was wonderful information. Thank you so much. I have personal questions, but I'm going to get to the questions in the audience first, of course. All right. So the first one, let's see. How long have you been offering these deals to investors? And how, I should have gotten my glasses. Have you never not paid an investor back? If so, what were the circumstances? I realize that could be kind of personal, and you might want to.
I do not mind answering that at all.
Okay.
Been doing that since 2006, and no, we have never, ever missed a payment to an investor, and have never not paid an investor back. No, that's a very simple question. I would rather take a bullet to the head than not pay my investors. And so it's just, we're fortunate that our returns are so good, and the model's so good, and so yeah, it's no, that's never been an issue, and I don't think it ever will be.
Well, that's amazing that y'all can do that. I mean, of course, I watched the whole thing. It's an amazing model that y'all have.
Well, thank you.
It was very interesting. I really like the creative structuring there. All right, question number 2. How do you deal, this one's very specific. How do you deal with the reinstallation of a home with building code that requires engineering stamp on MEP and structure before they will allow hookup to utilities?
Okay. And see, this is another beauty of manufactured homes. We are in the county. We don't deal with stuff like this. So I'm not the right person to ask that question. Okay.
Okay.
When you're in the city, yes, you're dealing with permits, you're dealing with all, these type of issues. All of our properties are in the county. Like in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here, we're 30 to 45 minutes out from like downtown Fort Worth and downtown Dallas. So, and that's one of the beauties. I'm glad that question was asked, because you don't have to deal, we have to pull maybe an electrical permit, but you don't have the building permits. You don't have all that stuff. And plus, manufactured homes, we're not redoing anything. They're already good floor plans. All we're doing is carpet, paint, stuff like that. So I apologize, but I can't answer that question. I don't deal with that. So.
No, fair enough. It was a very specific question, and
yes.
I'm not familiar with MEP, so thanks so much.
I've got friends that can answer it though. So if he calls me, I can get that answered for him, but I don't know off the top of my head. I really don't.
No, sure. That's perfect. And then what is the primary or your primary marketing channel for finding deals? Letters, postcards, cold calls, etc.
Very good question. Okay. So we do pretty much all of the above. Okay. So we still can buy homes off MLS. We do the HUD bid list. We go to auctions. We're doing postcards now. We are doing postcards and letters. The good thing about manufactured homes too is like we'll market real estate investors because they don't want mobile homes. We say, give us your throwaway mobile home leads. We'll pay you $1,000 if we convert it, right? And they'll give us the leads. Plus, real estate agents, they really don't want to list a mobile home either because they don't make any money on it. But they just don't make good money on it. So they'll send us the pocket listing, say, here's, if you'll buy this at this price. So we buy a lot of homes through real estate investors, through realtors, but yeah, all the same things that single family home guys do, we do too. We're doing seller direct, and we're just networking. We're networking, looking for properties just like everybody else.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Let me mark that one done. Where can we go learn all the details of how to invest in manufactured home? Is there a program, a book? I know that you just listed your book, and I did put it in the chat box. It's right. The Private Lender Secrets book.
Right.
And is that the full name? And I understand from what I understood, you can get it by request because it's a free book from your website.
That's correct.
Okay. And just I'll type it in there just really quick.
Yep.
So it's www.stromberginvestmentgroup.com.
Yes. Yeah. www.stromberginvestmentgroup.com. Yes.
Should have brought my glasses in this room. Investmentgroup.com.
Right.
All right. The letters were very tiny. So if I missed a letter, I very much apologize. Right. But www.stromberginvestmentgroup.com. Miss
Correct.
April Wiggins is where you can get that book request. And we also have, I noticed that the title was David Phelps as well. He is another guest speaker that we've had at Quest Trust, also works with Dennis. So I thought that was really interesting.
No, David is a good friend of mine, and I've been in his mastermind group. It's called Freedom Founders, and for 11 years. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great group, and I have a lot of my. That's where I have a lot of dentists that are my investors. So yes.
I'm really excited about that book. I might request it myself. I bet that's
I'll send you one, Nicole. We'll definitely.
Thanks so much. I would really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Okay, so it seems like we've answered those. I had some more questions myself. One of the things that you said that I really found interesting was that the manufactured home was a very good inflation hedge. Do you mind telling me just a little bit more of that, or
Sure.
about that rather?
So here's my personal opinion, and I feel real strong about this, right?
Sure.
Our government is printing trillions of dollars now, right? I mean, I personally think, once again, I don't have any crystal ball, but I study economics, and I think we're going to see massive inflation. I mean, I think we're already seeing pretty bad inflation right now, but I think we're going to see really. And so my take is you want your money in hard assets. Okay. Real estate, you think about it, milk, eggs, bread, butter, real estate all go up over time. Right. And I used the analogy, like properties that we were all in for 60,000 are worth 150,000 right now, where the dollar is losing value all the time. Right. I mean, it's losing value all the time. And that's why, I love real estate. And I think buy and hold real estate is my personal preference, because not only are you getting the cash flow, but you're building tax-free wealth over time that you look up one day and go, whoa, I got a pretty good amount of money in that deal, right? And that's an inflation hedge, right? That's an inflation hedge that hard assets versus paper assets. And I understand the stock market's done good through the years. I haven't been in the stock market since 2006, and I'll tell you my story. I had back when I was in the stock market, I had MCI WorldCom stock, which one day it was like I forget what it was, and then I wake up, I see the CEO in handcuffs, and it went from, I think I had 15,000 in my IRA, it went down to 200 the next day. Then about a day after that, it was zero, and I go, what just happened to my money? I go, where did it go? It was worth nothing, right? And where if you have that money in a house will never be worth nothing. Right. I mean, a house is always an asset that, it grows, right? It inflates. So I hope that answers your question.
No, thank you. And I think that that's a really good point to make. Because with inflation doing what it's doing, I personally, as an IRA specialist, have gotten questions about that. So I thought that was a really good point that I just wanted a little more. So thanks so much
Good.
for that.
My pleasure.
We have, of course, all of a sudden at the end is when all the questions come.
Always.
Some more questions. HUD awards $1.1 billion in American Rescue Plan, and Freddie Mac extends multifamily forbearance program. Are you knowledgeable in these investments?
Multifamily, no, I'm not the right person to talk to at all. No, I'm not. And really, we don't do a lot with, what was the first one you said? I'm sorry. It was Fannie and Freddie.
It said HUD awards $1.1 billion in American Rescue Plan, and Freddie Mac extends multifamily forbearance.
Yeah, I'm not the right guy to talk to on that. I apologize. I'm not, I know, there's been forbearances. You couldn't evict or foreclose. I mean, the foreclosure, I do know that the foreclosure forbearance is supposed to end at the end of June. Okay. Where they can start foreclosing again. That's, I do know that. And the evictions just happened in April but that's why the market's all screwed up supply and demand wise. But I don't deal with those two programs. So no, I'm not, unfortunately.
Sure. And that could have been maybe even more related to an IRA question. So Miss Cynthia Fisher, if that was more IRA related about a multifamily question, please feel free to reach out to us. All right, so that one's done. If we decide to invest with you, meaning Mr. Stromberg, and for some reason need to get the funds back, is that doable, or are we tied to the length of the loan?
Great question. And I'm glad that was asked. Theoretically, we do tell people that if it is a 5-year investment, don't get in if you're not going to be in for 5 years. But that is the beauty of having financial friends. We have enough investors. We have plenty of investors lined up for our properties to where if there was an emergency, okay, yes, we can bring in a new investor, take out the old investor. Now you lose your back end, but you'll get your principal back, right? You'll get your principal back. So, and that's happened in a couple situations, right? Because an emergency happened. So, and I believe that's the cool thing about like Quest and what we're doing here. You have financial friends, right? Mm-hmm. That yes, if I got a problem, someone else could help me or take over the investment. And so the answer is no, you can absolutely get your money back.
Sure. And life happens. So that's amazing.
It does.
All right. Do you pay monthly interest payments or quarterly payments? And again, if some of these you can.
Always monthly. Okay. Yeah, because when I do investments, I want to be paid monthly too. I like monthly too. So yeah.
Okay, well, perfect. Thanks.
I like monthly too. So
I do too. Yeah. All right. I'm not sure. This is from Anonymous, and I'm not sure if this could be directed towards maybe a Quest question or towards you, Mr. Stromberg. But how long have you been using other people's money?
I really started using other people's money in 2006.
Yeah.
2006. And that's, I've used all private money since 2006.
Sure.
And the reason is you can move faster. Okay. Now banks can have some better rates, right? But banks it's using a dentist term. It's like pulling teeth, right? It's like pulling teeth sometimes to get things done. And you can't do the volume we're doing with banks. You just, the Freddie and Fannie, you get like 10 investor loans, stuff like that. So I just believe that, I'd rather pay a little bit more, create win-wins for investors and be able to move and because I could pick up the phone and get whatever I need to take down whatever, if we found a big multi-house deal tomorrow. Right. And so, so instead of going through all the bank underwriting and all that type of stuff. And so that's why, yeah, I love private. I love private money and private and, IRAs, right? They're the best.
Yeah. I mean, of course, from our clients, we hear that it's a lot faster than a conventional bank.
It's a lot
easier. Faster. So, of course, do your own due diligence before getting involved with any investment.
Of course.
But that's what we hear from our clients too.
Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Lopez asks if he can get started with less than $30,000.
We don't have any investments that small. I wish I could find properties for $30,000, but we could, if he had someone in his sphere of influence, like we've had friends that come in together, husbands, wives, family members,
Like
that
a partner.
right. Someone that you know, like, and trust. You don't ever want to get into business, like from that side of it. But yeah, that's probably our smallest investment probably is 60,000. That's probably our smallest investment. So.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
All right. What is the minimum about to get started? So you kind of just answered that one about 60,000.
Yeah. And like I say, some people, it's a longer discussion, but some of my investors use other people's money, right? They'll buy a turnkey product from us. They'll lend money. They'll borrow money from family members at 6%, make the spread. There's all kinds of ways to do it out there. Because think about this. If you know someone in your sphere of influence who has a bunch of money sitting in the bank making nothing, and you're willing to pay them 4, 5, 6, 7%, and they're going, wow, that's fantastic. Then you take that money and then you can make 10 or 12%. You're making the spread. So a lot of people are doing that too. So, and that's part of why networking is so important, right? You learn where those type of opportunities are. So that's why networking is so important. So
I did like that quote that you put up. Your network is your net worth. In fact, if you come into the Quest building, we do have TVs around our different office suites. And that is one of the quotes that does flash up there.
It's a funny story because, Quincy Long, the president of Quest, is a really good friend of mine. We were in a mastermind group together, and I heard that phrase for about 2-3 years. And it was after about 2-3 years, I go, you know what? I think I believe that. That is true.
Isn't that funny?
That really is true. Yeah. Your network is your net worth. So yeah, that's the other thing too. And one more plug for you guys too. Anyone who does not have a Roth IRA needs to get a Roth IRA. I believe that totally. I got a Roth, like I listened for like 3 years. I should have got a Roth. And it took me 3 years to go through my brain. Then I finally did. Now it's the greatest thing I ever did because the taxes are paid. It's growing tax free. And so I believe everyone should have a Roth. I believe that.
Well, I'm really glad that you said that because I can't always say that.
I tell it to everybody who asks me, and I believe that. So that's for sure. So
that's awesome. Yes, the Roth IRA is quite powerful.
It is.
I definitely agree with that. All right. Are you still good on time for a few more questions?
Sure. I'll be happy.
All right.
And if we miss any, they could reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer.
In fact, I was going to ask you if you wouldn't mind sharing your contact information slide one more time to make sure that everybody, because I know we're not going to get to, of course, every question that we answer.
I do not.
4 or 5 more questions pop up. I know we're not going to get to all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry to the people that we will not get to, but we are going to get Glenn to put his contact information up again to make sure that you can get in touch with him for all of your questions that we don't get to. And if there are any way in IRA self-directed related, of course, you can reach out to Juan and I. I'll put our contact information up in a little bit. But I wanted to make sure that we get Glenn's information up since we have. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I don't mind at all, E2. Let me give you my phone number too. I don't mind if people call me on my cell.
Okay. Yeah, I'll type that in right now.
817-966
966
1258.
1258. All right.
Okay.
I think you might be getting ready for it to ring a lot.
Yeah, if it does, I'm actually at the lake with my daughter and my grandkids, so it won't be till Friday till I get back to you, but I'll get back to you by Friday or Saturday. So,
well, there you go, folks. You're gonna have to wait a little while Glenn has fun at the lake house. Yes. All right, we're gonna do a few more questions, guys, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay, let me see if any of these are kind of related. Let's see. This is a really good question that I kind of hear from a lot of existing clients and kind of investors in general. With the recent storms that have leveled homes of all sorts or, maybe damaged very heavily, how to rebuild and maybe kind of how do y'all handle that?
Well, fortunately, we have not had a home that's been leveled. Okay, so we've been lucky there. I mean, number one, make sure you've got good insurance. Make sure you have good insurance. And the beauty of a manufactured home is if it did get leveled, you bring another one in, so it's pretty fast, pretty easy, pretty simple. So, we really haven't had to deal with that at all. So that's just something, but yeah, you definitely want to make sure you have good insurance. That's for sure. That's for sure.
So this is kind of my question. So I am actually from Louisiana. We moved to Houston 3 years ago. We moved after Harvey. In Louisiana, even though that we didn't live in a flood zone, we just have flood insurance in Louisiana, or had, on our home, because you just never know in Louisiana, of course. And we lived in Baton Rouge, Southern Louisiana. It just could happen. Is that something that you would kind of recommend since you're kind of in the Texas area too?
Have flood insurance?
Yes.
No, we would never get flood insurance unless it's required.
Okay.
If it's required, that means there's a reason.
Yeah.
And flood insurance is about double. It's about double what the standard policy costs. So,
Got it.
And sometimes if it's in a floodplain, it'll make the numbers to where they don't work too. So that's what. But yeah, the flood zone gets my attention. I want to see, when was the last flood? What's the is that really someplace? Now, every now and then you'll find a place that's in a flood zone. They haven't had a flood there for 50 years. So I don't know why, but
yeah. We just kind of dealt with that in Baton Rouge a lot. We kind of had this 100-year flood, and it hadn't flooded in over 100 years. And a lot of people in that area didn't have flood insurance.
Right.
Because it had been so long. So just a side question for me. I apologize.
No, that's no problem.
And then we're going to do one more question, guys. We have Glenn's information in the chat box. We put it up on the screen. I put my information, Juan's information. So if you happen to miss Glenn's, please reach out to us. We are happy to give you Glenn's, but everything is in the chat box. So we're going to do one more question, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. Let's see. Will you work with 1031 exchange investments? I know this is an outside of an IRA question.
Well, absolutely. We've done tons of 1031 exchanges. Yes.
Okay. Well, that was
and one thing I would say to people on the call,
sure.
They're talking about doing away with 1031 exchanges, so you better do them fast.
That was kind of my next of side question.
It's on the chopping block, so yeah, you probably want to do it fast. So
all right, well, Glenn, I can't thank you enough for being here with us tonight, answering all of our questions, sharing so much of your knowledge. I personally learned so much. I know everyone in the audience did too. Thank everyone so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you again, Glenn, for being with us. It was wonderful. To everyone in the audience, we will be here, of course, again for the next Trillions next month. Please continue joining us for all of our Quest events. We love having you here, and we will see you next time. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thanks again, Glenn. Have a great evening. Enjoy your family at the lake house.
We will. And thanks, Nicole. Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Everyone have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.